Hi everyone, and this is Shiraz Ahmad Khan, your host of these sequel of video lectures. Today we are going to learn few things about the table creation in MS Word. Table, as we all know that a table is a combination of rows and columns. In different software packages, there are different methodologies to insert, create tables. So today we are going to learn few basic things regarding creation of the tables, and once the tables are created, how to enter data into the different cells of the table. Moreover, we'll learn how to insert new rows, new columns, and how to remove any of the rows or any of the columns. And finally, we'll see the few more things regarding the tables once they are created. In order to proceed further, we are going to take help from this task, that is task 13C of chapter 13 of the ICT book. So let's start it. In order to start the task, we are to open task 13B of the book, and as per the requirements, we are going to add to the end of the document the following text as a new paragraph, and just after the paragraph is typed, below this we are asked to add this table. So let's open the task 13B from our source files folders for chapter 13. Task 13B successfully opened, and at the end of the file, as per the requirements, add to the end of the document the following text as a new paragraph. In order to start a new paragraph, place the cursor at the end of the last paragraph of this document and press Enter key. It will end the previous paragraph and it will start the new paragraph as well by placing the cursor at the start of the next line. So type this text, temperatures recorded, ending at the week read. Type this paragraph, and we are asked to add a table below this paragraph. So once the paragraph is typed, cursor is blinking at the end of the newly typed paragraph. Press the Enter key to move to the next line. Here we are going to add a new table. So viewers, let me tell you that there are two methods of inserting a table. Method number one, go to the Insert tab from the list of tabs available under the title bar of Microsoft Word. Click this Insert tab. You will see from the left side we have a table group or table section. From this group, we have this table option with us. In order to add a table, click this drop down arrow. It will pop down different options to insert the table. We can draw the table. We'll see it during the next video lectures. We can insert the table by using this option, Insert Table. We'll see it shortly. And the very first method is this one. As I told you in the start of the lecture, the table is combination of rows and columns. So you need not to do anything except moving mouse pointer over the number of columns or rows. Just while moving the mouse pointer over these options, we observe that in the preview, automatically the table is being created side by side in our document where we placed the cursor before choosing this option. So this is one method of creating the table. If I just click here in the third row of fourth column, you just need to click left mouse button once. And look, once the key is pressed, all of a sudden the table is created. And one more thing I would like to highlight here is that automatically the new two tabs are appearing. It basically shows that these tabs, the design tab and the layout tab, they are relevant with the table. If you place the cursor outside the table anywhere in the document, you'll see that automatically these two new tabs, they'll disappear. So this is a proof that these two tabs, design and the layout, they are relevant with the tables. So viewers, this was a method number one of creating the table. Now let's see the next method. I am just undoing my work by pressing the shortcut key, that is Control Z. Control Z is basically the shortcut key to undo the last work. So I have just successfully undone it. Let's see the second method of inserting or creating or adding a table. Cursor is blinking at the same point. Again, click Insert tab. Click this drop down arrow of the table option. And this time, instead of moving your mouse pointer over these matrix of boxes, click Insert Table option. You will see a dialog box. The insert, we call it Insert Table dialog box. And here, we are to choose the number of columns and the number of rows. This is quite simple. You can click inside this and replace this value with any other value. Like, for example, I am replacing 5 with 4. It actually means that I want to create a table with 4 columns. You can switch in between these or navigate in between all of these options with the help of tab key or with the help of mouse. So I'm choosing 3 as a number of rows. You can increase or decrease this quantity with the help of these arrow keys as well. Look. So once the number of rows and columns are chosen, these three options are very important. I would like to put emphasis onto the second one, auto fit to contents. It actually means contents mean anything that we are going to type inside the cells of the table. This option actually means that we are directing MS Word to fit the width and height of the table according to the contents inside that particular cell. Most of the times we choose this option. The first option, fixed column width. It actually means that we want to create a table where the width of each column will be equal to the width of rest of the columns. It actually means that all columns of the table will be having exactly equal width. So for the time being, I am going for the second option, auto fit to contents, and finally click OK button. After pressing the OK button, you will see a table, but that will be different from the previous one. The only difference will be that you will observe that the width of the boxes would be much smaller as compared to the last action. Okay, look, the width of each cell of each column, it's much smaller than that of the width of the columns that we created in the last table through the last option. This is the first method of creating the table. So now let's see how it works. If you start typing inside the table, you will see that automatically the width of that particular cell will start increasing according to the contents inside that particular cell. Look, just after pressing the word name inside it, automatically the width of this particular cell is increased. So that was basically the impact of that second option, auto fit to contents. Now let's type the data that was basically we are asked to type inside the contents of the table, inside the cells of the table, maximum and minimum heading under these values, then second feb, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth feb. So let's type this data. In the very first, we want to have a table with the 3 columns and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rows and 3 columns. So we have created a table with 4 columns and 3 rows. Let's remove it and let's create a table with 3 columns and 8 rows, and I'm choosing auto fit to contents and finally clicking OK button. So this way a table is successfully created with the 3 columns and 8 rows. Now let's type the data inside the table. And side by side, learn few more things about the table. In order to navigate in between the cells of the table, you can press Tab key to move forward, and you can press Shift Tab to move backwards. After typing the value in the second row and the first cell of the table, second Feb, I want to move to the next cell, so I pressed Tab key. It will take me to the next cell. Here we are supposed to type 3, and in the next cell we are supposed to type -1, and in the top row we are supposed to type maximum and minimum. Keep on typing the data inside the cells of the table. You can choose the way which suits you. Now look, I'm pressing Shift Tab to move into the backward cells. In order to move downwards, you can make use of the arrow keys. Similarly, you can click inside any cell in order to place the cursor over there. -1, -3, -3. So finally, we have successfully typed the values inside the table. Now viewers, let's learn few things regarding the table which are not mentioned or highlighted in the given task. According to the task, that's it for the table. But now let's learn few things regarding the table. The first thing we are going to learn is how to insert a new row at the end of the table. And the shortcut method is place the cursor in the last cell of the table and finally press Tab key. Once the tab key is pressed, automatically a new row is inserted at the end of the table. So we learned how to insert a new row at the end of the table, and the procedure is place the cursor at the in the last cell of the table by clicking inside it, or by moving the cursor over there with the help of tab key or any other methods. Point is to place the cursor in the last cell of the table and press tab key. It will insert a new row at the end of the table, and you can insert a new row by using the same method, like I'm just moving with the help of tab key, and this way when the cursor is reached at the in the last row, automatically if you press tab key, it will insert a new row at the end of the table. Now let's learn how to insert a new row in between the two rows of the table. There are 2 or 3 different methods of it. The quickest method is to place the cursor. For example, if we want to insert a new row in between 2nd February and 3rd Feb. So the procedure will be place the cursor outside the second row. Look, you just need to click outside the border of the rightmost column of the table, outside it. And when the cursor starts blinking outside the borders of the table, press enter key. Let me quickly repeat it. In order to insert a new row in between the 2 existing rows, the shortest method is to place the cursor outside that particular row, outside its borders, and press the enter key. It will insert a new row in between the 2 rows. We have other methods as well in order to insert new rows and new columns as well, and the other methods are you can right click inside any row. You will see this context menu and from this context menu you can choose insert option, and you can choose any option from these given 5 options. We are interested to insert a new row between 3rd February and 4th February. Our intention is to insert a new row between 3rd February and 4th February. So right click inside 3rd February row or inside 4th February row. I am right clicking inside the 4th February row, and I can choose insert from this mini toolbar. This is mini toolbar and this is context menu. You can choose the option insert from any of these two. So I'm going for this time from the mini toolbar. Click insert and choose insert below or above, because I right clicked on inside the 4th row, so I'm choosing insert above. Look, automatically a new row is inserted. Likewise, you can right click in the 3rd February row, insert, and this time choose insert below. It will insert a row below the 3rd February. Similarly, we can insert a column. For example, if we want to insert a column in between maximum and minimum, right click inside any of the cells of these 2 columns. Inside any of the cells of these columns, there is no compulsion on that you are to right click inside maximum or inside minimum. You can right click inside any of the cells of these columns. Like I'm clicking inside the 3rd row of the maximum column, column number 2, and once again we have 2 options with us, the context menu and the mini toolbar. Click insert, and this time we are interested to insert a column towards the right side of the column which contains the heading maximum. So I'm choosing insert right. Automatically a new column is inserted by choosing this option. Similarly, this time I am right clicking inside the minimum column, choosing insert, and insert columns to the left this time. It will insert a new column to the left side of the column which contains the heading minimum. Similarly, the third method of inserting rows and columns is if you move the mouse pointer in between the column dividers, you will see this cross here, this plus symbol. If you click this, it will insert a new column. Similarly, if you move the mouse pointer in between the row dividers, you will see the plus symbol, and the plus symbol is to insert the new rows. Look, I'm moving the pointer in between these two rows, the row divider this time, and once again the plus symbol is appearing. If you click this, new row will be inserted. The last method of inserting rows and columns is you can just now we are going to learn how to remove or delete row or a particular column. Right click inside any row or column. This time, instead of choosing insert, go for delete. We want to delete these extra columns, so I'm choosing delete columns. You can select two columns at a time as well in order to remove them. After selecting these two, right click, go for delete, and delete columns rather than cells, because we want to delete both of these columns together. Similarly, I am selecting these three rows together, and this time one more thing I want to share with you, that there is no need to right click onto it. Just after the selection is made, select these three rows with the help of mouse. Automatically the mini toolbar is appearing. Choose delete and choose delete rows. Those extra rows are deleted. I'm deleting this row as well, and I'm deleting this row as well. So viewers, today we learned how to insert, create or add a table. We learned how to insert rows. We learned how to insert columns. We learned how to delete a particular row or a particular column. Finally, the last thing of the task 13C is to save the document as task 13C. So click choose the file menu, choose save as option, chapter 13, and save it with the name task 13C. That's it for today, viewers. See you next time. Goodbye.